Hello, I'm Sarah Gonzalez with the National Grain and Feed Association. I'm here with Jenny Murphy, Consumer Safety Officer at FDA's Center for Veterinary Medicine. And Jenny's been here at the Feed and Pet Food Joint Conference in Des Moines to talk about the Food Safety Modernization Act. So to kick it off, can you describe your role in developing the regulations under the Food Safety Modernization Act?
Yeah, I've been involved with the Food Safety Modernization Act since it passed. I was first a project manager for the federal state integration team, but as my role shifted, I became the CVM point of contact for the Food Safety Modernization Act. So I help coordinate CVM's roles and involvement with FSMA and a lot of review of guidance documents and regulations. And for the Preventive Controls for Animal Food rule, I came in between the supplemental and right at the passage of the supplemental, and became the lead for that particular working group. So as it was finalized, I was the lead for that, worked with our regulation writer and our team here to help really get that one across the finish line.
Okay. And as you mentioned earlier, one of the major rules for the animal food industry is the preventive controls. So can you describe what stage we're in right now, and then what facilities should be looking forward to in the next stage?
So the stage we're at right now is we have actually hit the first compliant date for the larger businesses. Those are ones that are not small or very small. So you're looking at those with over 500 employees. Their first compliance date has actually passed for their implementation of current good manufacturing practices. So we're at the stage where they should be implementing their CGMPs, and as they get the foundation for their CGMPs in place, they should start to think about what they're going to do for the implementation of preventive controls. So those are requirements are in the subpart C, so how to get their food safety plan and their hazard analysis. So for the smaller and the very small facilities, we haven't passed those compliance dates yet, so they should be looking at ways to make sure that they have their CGMPs in place, and then also start to look towards the future of their preventive controls and what they want to think about doing there.
Okay. Can the industry do anything to make this compliance process any smoother?
We were very lucky to have an unprecedented amount of interaction with industry during the development of those rules. And I would say that has made these rules stronger. And it can't stop just to the rule development stage. This is going to be a continual back and forth as we both learn from each other as we are into the compliance period. So we do have draft guidance documents out, and more will be coming. Industry can help us make those better if we didn't get them right. If there's things that are still really unclear, we need your comments on that. If we don't hear from you all, we think we got it right, so we don't want to leave a gap of knowledge out there. So one thing you can do is comment on the draft guidance documents. Others is come in and talk to us. If you have questions or concerns, you're allowed to come talk to us. We want to make sure you can use your association, such as NGFA or PFI, to bring forward your concerns. But we want to make it interactive. This has to work for all of us, and that's one way to do it, is continuing with that open communication.
Okay, and lastly, Jenny, you mentioned earlier sort of a culture change at FDA when they're viewing FSMA and its implementation. How is the agency viewing that, and how should the industry be viewing these rules to make it successful and easier for everyone?
So one thing that industry and FDA and consumers can all agree on is food safety. We all eat, my children eat, our parents eat, our animals eat, the animals that we eat, their product they eat. We all want that food to be safe. So that's our base there. We have to all start from that point, is that we all want food safety. One of the things that you can start to do to prepare for that is really start to shift, and we're having to shift our culture at FDA, and it's not just a inspection first, ask questions later. It's going to have to be an education component. We've talked a lot about it, and we continue to talk about education before, during, and while regulating. So it is going to be conversational. We are going to have to talk to each other. And FDA, the culture change is making sure that we are looking at it from a compliance standpoint and also an education. Use this opportunity to make sure that we're all trying to reach that common goal of food safety, whether it's through talking and doing corrective actions right away or having to have a bigger conversation. But being willing and open to that food safety communication and looking at it from that angle first, we're having to redirect and rechange sort of some of the inspector workforces to think about this education component as a first reaction, as opposed to just what people call just issuing a 483. Like, that is not our goal. Our goal is to achieve compliance. We have different ways of going about that, but the education component is going to be sort of our first attempt in something that we have to do. That doesn't mean we won't ever take action. It just means that our first is we want to help comply. We're learning, you're learning, everyone is learning these new regulations at the same time, and we all need to be working on that component.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jenny, for
Thank you,
summarizing
Sarah.
that
I
for me.
appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us.